mean, it'll just probably pick you up in the background, but can you hear me? Testing, 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 testing. One, two, three, four, five.
Keep going, please.
Testing, testing, testing. Rubber baby monkey bumpers or whatever that stupid saying it is. Want me to keep going? Obviously, you want me to keep talking. Hello, 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 hello. Okay. All right. All right. Sounds good. Bye. Am I all set to go? Okay. Well, I can't see anybody, so. Uh,
Can't see
but
anybody.
now I can hear. Now I can start to hear. Okay. I'm gonna call this meeting officially to order at 7:08 on August 21st, 2025. My God, I just had a blank there. All right, we're going to be called to order. Clerk will call the roll for attendance.
John,
Here.
Adam,
Here.
Brian,
Present.
Katie, Lizette, Eden, I'm here, and Emmanuel.
I'm here. I believe by hearing the number of present that we have a sufficient amount to conduct quorum. And we will move on to the next agenda item, which is public comment. And I will leave this open for a few moments so that we're not all awkwardly staring at each other. So that if there are any members of the public that would like to speak, now is your time. I'll give this till 7:10, and if there is nobody that wants to speak, we'll move on to the next agenda item.
I'm just waiting for public comment.
Yep, I'm aware.
Oh, that's right, you can hear it.
There's Eden.
Hi, Eden.
Welcome.
We're on public comment right now, so we're just waiting to see if anyone jumps on Zoom.
Great, thank you.
Seeing that there are no members of the public that have spoken, and we have now reached the 7:10 mark, I will now close that portion of our agenda. We will now move on to the approval of the July meeting minutes. And I will entertain any motions at this moment.
Motion to accept.
On Jonathan's motion, is there a second?
I'll second it.
Seconded by Adam. Are there any further discussions about the July meeting minutes? Seeing that there are none, I think we can just use a voice vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Any abstentions? The ayes have it. We will now move on to the ED report, and I will turn this over to Tina.
Thank you, Board President. I'll entertain any questions at this time on my report. We have a number of items that were included with that report for tonight's agenda. I want to be mindful of everyone's time. Obviously, the youth workshops, we wrapped those up, so if you have additional questions outside of the report I provided, or feedback on that, and then I want to briefly talk about assistance with election coverage, both the municipal and the school board coverage, as well as some volunteer opportunities for our board members. So I'll start by asking if there are any questions regarding my board report tonight.
I had questions about Medison and what's going on there. And
Mhm.
I read the report, but we're just paying for a study right now. It's not.
It's called we're doing an actual audit of our system. So
Okay.
it's a full audit of our operations, both IT based and cablecast based. So it's all about how we get our signal out and how we work internally with our systems.
Okay, because I saw the report from them, and it didn't see. I'm like, are we paying for equipment? Like, what's
No
it's-
equipment at
It's
this
just them to come
time.
in and take a look at stuff and be like, this is what you got, and
Not just that, but the biggest benefit that's going to come out of this is they're going to do drawings for us. So we will have complete system drawings for the whole facility and our satellite locations. So we know what's being connected where and how it's being connected and what it's being connected with. And then on secondary part, there will be solution-based feedback on what we can do moving forward.
So opportunities to upgrade, obviously pending funding of some sort, but also that's an internal record of
where things are wired, why they're wired that way, could they be wired differently, or do we have duplicative systems, duplicative apps, that kind of thing.
Were there any major things that came up that are major and need to be resolved immediately?
The audit has not happened yet.
Okay.
It will happen on September. It'll start on September 9th. It'll take a few days. We have partnered with our current IT contractor to have somebody on site for that. And so yeah, and to be clear, this person is going to be crawling around our ceiling looking at where wires are running and why wires are running outside, and checking all of our equipment to find out if it's antiquated, that kind of thing. But again, as I know it, we don't currently have any types of drawings for our network and our broadcast system. So that is concerning to me as the executive director. I think that's a priority for us. So I want to have that made. And we had originally budgeted, I think, for $60,000 for this project. And so for it to come under $10K, I think is exceptional with a local contractor. So.
I was also-
From the chair, can I ask,
Mhm.
is there any possible way, I guess, or is there any grant funding to secure, if needed, for the upgrades? I mean, I'm assuming yes, but.
So let me speak to that. This is a first step in a multi-year, multi-phased project, right? So we know we need a new playback system, an upgraded playback system. We know we need new computers to do our work that we need to do. We know we need all of this, and this is going to be our roadmap to get there, and then we're going to find the money. Right. Some of the money is coming from our capital improvements funds from the city of Malden. Right. So, but ideally, I would like to find grant funding for the capital expenditures. And quite frankly, capital is never an issue to get. People want to throw money at toys and things and upgrades, right? Or streamlining our services. So, I'm not very concerned about funding this. It's more about making sure it gets done and it gets done correctly.
Having documentation about where we are now, and then being able to phase in a project that has linked into both our strategic plan and a fundraising plan. And also this is going to make us more, as we phase in different upgrades, this will make us more fundable possibly to things like workforce development, because we can say, we can link it to STEM, we could link it to technical improvements, we can link it to these types of things. So, and yes, there's some decent money out there for things like this.
And can I also ask too, sorry, not to just dominate asking two questions, but with the upgrades, is there any projection or any thought of, I guess, the longevity of the equipment? Meaning, like, is this something that we're going to have to look at every 5 to 10 years? Is it something that, is there a time limit on that? Or,
yeah, so a good practice for any organization is to have a 5 to 10 year CIP plan, which is a capital improvements plan, and factor in the replacement cost of antiquated equipment. UMA currently doesn't have that plan, and it's something I've been talking about since the day I got here. But I can't create that plan until I know what I have and what needs to be replaced. So that's why we're doing the audit first, and then we will move forward with what I believe to be a very comprehensive strategic plan. And I want to also note that it's actually a requirement through our city contract that we provide these plans to the city of Malden. So in order to do that, I want to make sure that I'm providing accurate information.
So with the plan, you get drawings, right? Is that
Yes.
essentially
Mhm.
okay?
So it's basically blueprints.
Yeah. Well,
Yes, for our
Schematics,
yeah,
basically, of
schematics,
the
yes.
building.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Not for the building, but for our IT and broadcast infrastructure, to clarify. That's why it's called a technical audit. But he's also going to look at our current equipment and what we have and what needs to be paid attention to, as well as the systems we use as staff internally to communicate, and if we have enough training on them, or if we need to look at different areas of software to improve our internal communication and external communication. So.
This will also help with accessibility and universal access as well, too.
I have a question. So this is costing 8,900,
Mhm.
and we thought it might cost 60,000.
Mhm.
Is he reputable? In
Yes,
addition to
very much
yours?
so. In fact, I was working with another company that I know from decades of work with ACM, who's based out of Virginia, and when I mentioned Seth's name from Medisond, he was like, I tried to hire that guy.
All right.
He's amazing.
Okay, because it seems like a wildly good deal.
I agree.
Okay.
And he's very excited to work with us. He's worked with multiple community media centers around the area, around Massachusetts, and he came highly recommended
From
through
Mass
Mass
Access,
Access.
yeah.
So,
Other stations have used him, and so he's familiar not only with community media and the systems and the equipment and technology, but he also does things as granular as like the website.
Yes.
So it's really like, and it's not just the website, it's website, how does the website, how is it hosted? How do we use it internally? How does it get used externally? Does it provide what we need for the community? So
Sounds incredible.
and that money disparity really, I think when we talked about a figure, we were looking for like possibly replacing equipment if needed. So that's why that number was so high.
Ah, I see. Okay, that makes sense.
Can I move on to a different question, or are we gonna stay? I don't know. Right, we're on the ED report, right?
Mhm.
So,
any more questions on the tech audit? I guess I'll say right now.
None here.
Okay.
my question was on the, summer program, right? We got in like
Excuse me.
4,000 or something close
Yes.
to that, and then our spend was 3,000, and I just wondered what that 3,000 was for, cause the game
So,
was 600.
When I factored in what the cost for UMA to produce these programs were, I factored in James and Aaliyah's staff time. We did provide snacks to the attendees, a fraction of the cost of our utilities because we were open longer than what we would normally be open, and the one thing I didn't put in there is my salary.
Okay.
So
But should salaries really count? Would we paying James and Aaliyah anyway, or was it
no,
extra
because they wouldn't have
time?
come in that early in the day.
Okay. Okay.
So.
That's good to know.
And that's how we quantify our ROI anyways,
right.
regardless if we're, they would have been in or not. We have to factor in staff salaries when we do things because that costs us money and they're doing those things and not doing other things, right? So that's the baseline for the establishment of an ROI is what was it costing us to do this program
Right.
and what are we getting back in?
But I can also look at it like if we had nothing, then, I mean, yes, we wouldn't have been paying James and Aaliyah's salary, but we wouldn't have been bringing anything in. So, I mean, I get that that's not an ROI, that's not how you factor it, but I'm just saying from last summer's standpoint, there were $0 being
Right.
brought in, so.
Right.
That's all.
Right. And again, this was our beta test, right? Like,
Right.
I'm very happy with how the workshops came out. Both James and Aaliyah and I have had conversations. We're going to have another conversation about what to change, what to tweak. But, it's a learning experience and it's a building experience, right?
Yeah, no,
So-
I'm glad they happen. I just
Mhm.
wanted to know, like, was, maybe technology was bought and it could be used future years. I didn't know what the
Which
expenditure
that
was,
is the
so.
case too.
So-
We did purchase 3 new iPads for
Okay.
this program, and I didn't even put that in
Okay.
the cost of it, right? So
So we wouldn't have made any, really,
right.
truthfully.
Actually, I think we probably broke even
Okay.
on it. But again, not counting my staff time, and I was very involved in creating the curriculum and making sure that the team had the support they needed to make this happen. So,
Yeah.
right.
Right.
But that, maybe that's worth a conversation. What do you want in the ROIs when we're looking at these types of programs? Right? I thought I was putting in the appropriate stuff, but maybe I'm not, and that's
I just
okay.
wanted to know what it consisted of.
Right.
That's all.
How many kids did we end up having total?
13.
13, okay.
What'd you think, Jonathan?
I thought they were great. I came in and helped James and Aaliyah a couple days with the older group when they were filming. And it was a good group. They got along really well and
Mhm.
they meshed really well, which I think is probably, you never know, when all these kids I don't know if they knew each other beforehand or not, but and James was great. I was telling Felicia earlier that he basically showed them a pathway and said, this is how we do things, and they just went at it. And I was there, I suggested things, and sometimes I was told, no, we don't need to do that or whatever. And I said, okay, just think about it. So it was good. I thought it was a great experience.
Thank you.
And I thank you
Oh, yeah,
personally
it was
for
fun.
coming in. The staff had a great time having you here. The kids had a great time having you here, and it was. James mentioned that it was awesome to see your perspective of it, because we don't often get that professional side of recording
Yeah.
look to it. So I think it added a layer to the experience for the
Yeah.
kids.
Good.
Yeah. The younger group were both amazing. It was kind of two totally different cultures and vibes with the group. The original group had a little bit of a difficulty on the first day really connecting, but by the end of the week they're all going over for a sleepover at one kid's house, right? So it wasn't just about learning creativity, it was about making new friends and connecting, you know. So.
It seemed like you got good feedback. I don't know.
I thought we did, yeah.
Yeah.
I know you want to say something.
I'm honestly, the questions that have been asked, and I'm just very happy, because this is something that we've talked about doing since I joined the board in June of 2022, was how can we provide more youth programming? And there's always been ceilings caving in, rats and sewers overflowing, and all kinds of other things that have taken, you laugh, but there were major structural problems, and all of Tina's time went to, bailing out the physical boat, let alone the programming boat. And I'm so happy that this program was launched, that people attended, that they had a good time. I love that you're asking financial questions, and this is probably the first time and probably the only time you'll ever hear me say the goodwill that this brings to the community and the foundation that this brings with having had students graduate from this program. Yeah, well, they finished the program. Is just the first step.
I agree.
I'm very, very excited and encouraged. So.
And I do want to say thank you to you, Brian, because you have pushed us since 2022. And I've been like, can I get the rats out of the building first?
Yeah.
But it's always been there. And I want to share, and I point this out in my ED report, as I started talking about the back to school program, right? I am fine tuning a full after school program coming out of UMA that would be free to attend for middle school age children. We're working on finding sponsors for that program to help assist with the cost that's going to be associated with that. I can tell you right now it's not going to be launched in September because we want to do it right and we want to do it well. But it's because of the youth workshops that we're able to go, oh, we could do this and we could do that and that kind of thing. And we will build on the youth workshops as well. So.
Is there a reason why you're not charging for the middle school program, even a small fee?
It has been an ask from the community for a very long time, and I think that we can find funding for
We
it.
can offset. I think we can.
So, yeah, I plan to talk about it at the annual meeting.
Okay.
To kind of give the overall design and what we're looking to do. So I'm not prepared to give great details this evening. So.
Without giving details, where would the funding, are you talking about individual sponsors in the community? Are you talking about grant writing? Are you talking about, please don't say federal funds.
No. I will share with you that at this point, UMA is not in a position to even look at federal funds, right? So no, it's grant funding, looking at local sponsorships, that kind of thing. Underwriting.
With a cohesive plan and some numbers behind it, and sort of like what our programming and curricula would look like. Yeah.
So I would say that we probably, the hope is to launch it in January and do a half year and take the data from that to use it for funding potential.
Is this a 5-day a week after school
No,
thing?
2 days a week, maybe.
Perfect.
Okay.
Couple days a week.
And I'm really supportive of January in general, but even just the winter months when it's just hard to be outside. Like, not to say that UMA's not great all year round. It is.
That's
But
a great plug.
But as a parent that values like their kids being outside and off screen, the idea that it gets dark at 4 o'clock, and so like even if you were into sports, it's hard to do. So like around October, November, it starts to get dark. So really having that
Yeah.
kind of winter
Yeah.
structure, I think is more vital time of year than ever. But I could be biased, but it's just how I feel. So I'm happy to hear January because that seems hopefully reasonable and a good time.
And when we have the bandwidth and we can add additional resources here at UMA, we do intend to transition that into a high school program as well. But right now, it's the need is for middle school age children to have something to do, and so we want to meet our community at that need. So
And I can say as parent of kids who do not like group sports, they loved coming here when they were younger and doing this stuff because it was something that wasn't, sports. It wasn't direct like art, like coloring, painting, or anything. So it fulfilled a need that they weren't getting in other groups.
Yeah.
So, any other questions?
So I mentioned this before the meeting opened to the public, but there is still no city-appointed board member. And please forgive me, but the contract specified, and this was at the request of the city, that they wanted to have a representative present at board meetings. Is that right?
Yes, so they have up to 12 months from the signing of the contract to fill that seat. The contract was signed last December.
Yep.
I have been in contact with Ron Hogan from the city. Obviously, the city is dealing with some very big things right now, and
Like what?
you know, and UMA is trying to be a supportive partner in their challenges, and so I'm not pressing it right now. But I did ask if there was a possibility to have that person appointed by the annual meeting, so I'm waiting for some feedback on that.
Okay. I just from your interim strategic plan, not the like formal one that you're working towards, but I know that the number one was going to be better engagement with the city, and I'm looking forward to that liaison coming in to help with that process. Just one more thing for you to take off your plate to some extent, right?
And I can say that I was included in the email. I don't know if it was CC'd or whatever, but so I saw the email go out and they just haven't responded yet.
Do we have the ability to extend or just remove that deadline and say that they're welcome to appoint someone whenever they're
I
ready
have
to do
no
so?
intention of adhering to a deadline with them, like.
It almost makes me wonder why one was created in the first place.
It was actually just drafted into the contract, I think.
Okay.
So.
The contract negotiations, there's a long and storied history behind the contract
Yeah.
negotiations.
But we have a finalized excellent contract with the city, and we're
Yeah.
just gonna move on from there.
Yeah,
so.
we don't want to go into that here, but if you want to talk about how it came to be, I'm happy to go over that process.
Sure, thank you.
What else on the ED report?
I have a question about the internship for the fall.
Mm-hmm.
I think like your definition of internship might just be slightly different than mine.
Okay.
Is it connected directly to a college? Like I think of internship for college that you need in order to graduate.
No, it's not connected. We are in the process of developing a full-fledged rotating internship here at UMA, where the only requirement is that you must be 16 years of age or older. Again, that's something I'm going to be planning on talking about at the annual meeting in depth, so that's where we are.
There's also different terminology out there. There can be an intern that's unpaid. There can be an intern that has college credit. There can be a college-aged intern. There could be an intern like from the city, from the MyStep program, where the city pays them and they're actually paid through Mass Hire. So there's a variety of different terminologies.
Right, and that's what I was.
The only reason I know this now is because I've been doing some research around, at TITA's guidance around workforce development and apprenticeships and volunteer, and what does that all mean in terms of UMA
Right,
and
and-
how that meets our organizational
And
needs.
I know from recent college student experience, certain internships are required by law to be paid, and others like government positions in the court and stuff do not get paid.
Yes,
Mhm.
yeah, and sometimes the college pays the intern, and then
Yeah.
we make a percentage,
Yeah.
we give towards a percentage of that, so yeah, all of that has to be
Yeah.
factored in.
So we had, I should mention, since the writing of my ED report, we had an exceptional meeting with representatives, a large group of representatives of from Mass Hire here in Malden yesterday, and it honestly energized both parties, to have the conversation and talk about my vision for the workforce development program, the intern program. They're very excited and collaborating with us, and immediately brought up assisting with some sort of funding if they could. So, TBD.
Is the goal with the workforce development program still to provide some form of certification or accreditation?
Yes.
Okay.
But again, as I said, that is a couple years down the line.
I get that, yeah. I know
Right?
that's a long.
But that is the goal.
But the goal is
As
still-
I mentioned to Mass Hire yesterday, we look at it. We're calling it an UMaversity, right? It's not a university; it's an UMaversity. And my goal is for the attendee to walk out of this building and have a job. Right? That's my ultimate goal
But they
in
were,
the industry.
and they were great with like, so how do you establish that pipeline? You know, who on your board knows those folks? I'm looking at you, Jonathan. But like, what do the job descriptions look like out there? And then how do we set up our programs and internal systems and qualifications and trainings that can help fulfill that? And then how do we get funding for those types of things too?
Yeah, one of the employees brought up the fact that she can share, what did she call it? What was it? Job descriptions? Like,
So they have industry quality data. So there's some person on their workforce board program that just does industry data. So if you have specifics, they'll work with us to give us data about like, you know, what are the jobs that are really necessary in Massachusetts? Where are people hiring? What kind of skill set do they actually need? So you have data behind there, and then I'm not the one doing the research. They already have this wonderful information available.
and we're not assuming what our community needs. We're providing what our community
Yes,
actually
yeah.
needs. So, yeah.
So we don't create this in a vacuum. We create it with a lot of information and feedback.
You keep looking at me. I know. I
Because
always
you
have
keep looking at
questions,
me.
but You're talking.
Okay.
I love it.
Okay, great.
I think it's great.
I will put my name in for Monday to help,
Oh, fantastic. That was my, thank you. Help next
to
week.
assist next week, Monday, 10 to 5. I'm down.
Awesome. Yeah, so we do need to do our annual shutdown next week. We are gonna be moving the lobby furniture, downstairs. We have a local business that's interested in donating and acquiring that furniture. And then, we are gonna be rotating my office out to the front office by the lobby. And I'm converting my current office into a reservable conference room / office space. That is available to our members, but could also be rented out if need be. So we have a lot of moving parts up here, and then we have a ton of stuff to go through. We are finally getting to organize our portable equipment room, get all of our portable equipment in one spot, and get it inventoried. And then there's a multitude of items that need to be inventoried downstairs. So anyone wants to swing by and help next week, we're going to be here 10 to 5, Monday through Thursday. I don't know how, I'll probably be here a lot longer than that. I'll be here Friday and probably through the weekend, because my goal is to try to get as much of this done as possible so we can just go about our daily operations, kind of thing. So if you don't, not sure of your schedule right now, please just send me an email. Happy to do that. With that said, I'm going to be taking some much needed vacation at the end of the month after the annual meeting. So the week of September 22nd and the week of September 29th, we are in need of assistance at the front desk, just to have somebody here to answer the phone or let people in so that the other UMA team members can be helping members or doing their jobs. So if you're available, please let me know. And then lastly, we are looking for people, and I'm looking at you, Adam, who would be interested in being on camera to help us out with some election coverage. So day of election day. We were looking to do some man on the street interviews. We're looking to have a live production here out of the studio on that night. And I just like to have some dynamic people in front of the camera if interested. So it would be on election day. Generally what they do is they go out really early in the morning to the various voting stations and just talk to people about
Does this-
issues in the community.
Does this include the primary day, or just
No.
the main
Just
election?
election day.
Okay.
I think that would be depressing as much as it,
So
Yeah.
sorry.
again, I don't need commitments now.
I just wanted to make sure I was putting
Yeah.
everything.
Emmanuel
And
and
I
Con-
don't believe there are any primaries in the city of Malden. This is a municipal year, so there are no primaries.
No, there is,
Oh,
right?
There's
There
a
are two
no, that's
primaries.
incorrect. There is a primary,
Yeah.
yes.
Ward 4 school committee and Ward
Yep.
6.
For the
at
who?
Ward 4 school committee has a
For
primary.
the who is?
Ward 4
Oh, they do.
school committee
And Ward 6 counselor.
council.
Yeah, there's like.
Ward 4 is in the
Oh.
Dawn Mackey,
Okay, I stand corrected.
Yes.
and she's running uncontested, isn't she?
Dawn,
Yeah.
No, there's
No.
3 people
Whoa.
running.
Jeff,
Donahue.
Jeff, Abir,
Donahue.
and Dawn.
Yeah.
yeah, there's
Dawn
And
no,
then-
College was uncontested.
For Ward 6,
No.
you have
There's been a lot of
yeah.
Steve.
Where have you
Stuff.
been?
going on.
So,
Busy.
just to be clear, UMA is very
I know.
actively planning for election coverage and providing information as much as possible. We're going to be putting out an invitation to all of the candidates to come in and create a message to their constituents. We're partnering with a variety of different organizations and youth to do debates and forums. So, we're trying to be active and get the information out to our community, kind of thing.
Well, I would be happy to host the election night coverage. So
I was really hoping you would say that because I think you would be excellent at it, Emmanuel. So,
probably very controversial now that I'm not in. I'd probably have some things to say, but I'm in.
all right, I'm signing you up.
Is there any
Awesome.
way to be like just over the top communication about like making a post? We've invited X candidates like this date to like come and debate or talk or whatever, because I am frustrated from prior years when people don't show up and they say X, Y, or Z happened, or they didn't know, or whatever they want to say. And at least UMA can say, we're not biased. We went out on September 4th, 6th, 8th, 10th, sent out this email to X candidates all at the same time for this date, or we inquired about dates that are, I just want us to have our I's dotted and our T's crossed, because I'm really sick and tired of certain candidates not showing up. And at least in the past, I don't know that will happen this election, but I really think that needs to be not only election night, but leading up to, right? Like that preparation needs to be clear, so the public knows, if somebody doesn't show, they should be giving a reason why, because UMA's important and we should be valued and we put a lot of effort forward. That's all.
So my response to that is that we started planning election coverage about 6 weeks ago. Aaliyah is our civic engagement specialist, and so this is her lead project. She's been putting an extreme amount of hard work into making sure that we're covering all of our bases. To be very, very clear, UMA does not endorse a single candidate in anything. We are here as a tool to educate and inform our community. That is it. So we have guidelines that we follow, and we try to engage our community as much as possible. Now, if a candidate doesn't show up, that's not on UMA's shoulders to make that happen, right? The invitation is there, and I have been very clear with instructions that we need to get those invitations out as soon as the date is set.
Right.
Right.
Well, it's an invitation. Do they have to reply back yes or no? And if
The
so-
ask is to reply in writing. If they
Okay.
are declining, that we need that reply in writing. But we
Okay.
are also keeping the sent emails in a folder as well, to show that we have,
Okay.
we're equitable,
That's,
we're
that's
transparent.
what I'm asking. Yes,
right?
thank you.
And, I love any other solution-based feedback you might have to help educate the community that we're helping get this information out. If you can share it on social media, if you can tell people while you're out and about, hey, UMA's doing this and this and this. Once we get dates solidified and more information solidified, I know that we're waiting a little bit for the primaries to kind of solidify some details so that we've got all of our correct information out
Okay.
there, right?
Yep.
So,
Correct me if I'm wrong, we can't host it.
No, absolutely
We
not.
produce it.
We produce it, right.
So,
which is why we partner. So
Yeah.
we partner with organizations to host the program and moderate it and make sure that the information gets out. UMA is just there as the record keeper.
Yeah,
basically.
but you're still sending the invites, I mean, that's,
Was primarily the host's job to do
Okay.
that.
okay.
And
Yeah.
who are these groups typically?
We haven't solidified that yet.
Okay.
I know that the Chinese Cultural Connection does one. There was conversations about GMAC doing it. We are in conversations with the Zonta Youth Group to do one here at UMA or at the Senior Center. Again, no details have been solidified, but
I mean, did you say we can produce but we can't host, or was it the other way?
right, we don't
We produce.
host it, we produce it, we're the record
Let's make sure
keeper.
I'm
Yeah.
putting it right.
right.
Thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions on my ED report at all?
I feel like I'm getting quizzed. Like I missed something I'm supposed to be asking about.
No, I'm just trying. I'm providing an open space for
I thought it was a very
questions.
comprehensive report.
I did too.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Just wanted to make, I guess I did want to make a little note on the legislative update and the good news on that. You
They
know,
move
that
forward.
it got passed through committee onto the Senate Ways and Means. That's a huge win for this bill, so crossing our fingers that it keeps going, moving forward.
So does it have to go through the House, or has it already gone
It's
to the
a,
House?
it's a Senate bill, so it goes through, it's in the Senate Ways and Means Committee right now,
Okay.
and they will decide if it makes it to the Senate floor this year.
Okay, but doesn't it eventually go to the House, doesn't it have to be passed?
There's a House bill as well.
Yeah, okay. Cause I always feel like
The
House
h- I
never
believe it's-
passes the Senate, and the Senate, it's just like,
Yeah.
I don't know, sorry, I wanna be optimistic, I get that I should be optimistic.
You should be
At the same
optimistic.
time, I don't, yeah, I just worry about the other side kind of thing, so.
Good things.
You're laughing
Well,
at me.
politics is, I mean, come on.
So the Senate has their
It's
version
all
and the House will
politics.
have their version, and then they, if both of them pass, they kind of mix it together.
Yeah, that is the assumption of what's gonna happen, yeah. Yeah. And again, just a reminder, this bill has been going for 6 years through committee, and it's still moving forward. So there is support there. There's support for us here.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yay.
The state legislature is not that different from the federal legislature,
I know.
right? But, you know, the last major piece of legislation we had was 2016. Not that the other things haven't gone past in that time, but my assumption would be that this would get rolled into something else at some point, right?
Mm. Yeah.
In coming out of the ACM conference, Vermont had an interesting model with a lobbyist, and Mass Access within that same week actually hired a lobbyist for the Massachusetts version of community media, so that we are, you know, our issues or what we are needing or how we're serving our community is more forefront, so that people are more educated about these bills.
Yeah, and I actually got a direct outreach from the president of Mass Access a couple weeks ago, almost a month ago, asking me to contact Donato's office. And so I called and left a message, and he called me right back immediately. And he was like, "I'm on board. What do we got? What are you doing?" You know, so the support is here in our community. And so I will continue to do the work and make myself available to do that work when it comes up. So, yeah.
You did really well when you testified.
Ah, thanks. I do what I can. Okay, any other questions on my report? Okay, I'm done.
Alright, seeing that there are no questions about the ED report, we will now move on to the finance report.
So I owe you a report from my audit last week, but I did go through and look at spending and did not notice any unusual activity. The only thing I would comment on is that cash is low relative to where I would like it to be. Cash is sitting right now at, let's see, we're down 46 grand from the beginning of the fiscal year at the end of June. So we're sitting at around 89 grand right now, which might sound like a lot of money to the average person, but when you're running a business, it goes fast. So We're still waiting on money to come in from the city, which is late, it seems, at this point.
I'm hoping it's here next week.
Yeah.
It's,
so that
it
should be-
usually comes in around between the 20th and 25th.
Yeah, but, you know, cost-cutting measures are proving to be quite necessary as we're looking at money getting very, very tight. And I believe that we had applied for revolving lines of credit at one point and were denied, if memory serves. So really, we have what's in the bank and we can't pull on loans or credit lines or anything to that effect. The next place you start looking is gonna be like equity in the building, and I don't even know what we do in that situation.
Can't do that either.
So just be aware that the sacrifices that have been made over the past 12 months are not for no reason. That money is very, very tight in the bank right now, and I think that the staff have done everything they can to address these issues to make sure that UMA is sustainable in the future. Hopefully that this hardship will pave the way for success in the future. Anybody have any questions?
I have a comment.
Please.
So that note led Felicia and I to a discussion about what fundraising is and what that looks like and how can we continue to beef up those numbers and more importantly diversify our funding, right? So we're doing excellent in the membership department, we're doing excellent in the paid productions department, but we are bringing in $0 in fundraising and sponsorships right now, right? And with the reduction in force, who's going to have time to concentrate on that? So our conversation was as far as chatting with the board about what fundraising looks like and what we can do to beef up those numbers. And so the thought was to have sort of a presentation conversation at our October meeting about fundraising in the future. So
After the annual meeting.
after the annual meeting.
Okay.
Can I ask what's been successful in the past in terms of fundraising?
So the organization didn't have a fundraising track record. When I was a board member, it was something that we would discuss, but we were shy about fundraising in the community at that point. And then when I came on board with Tina, we've tried some online campaigns, year-end campaigns. We've tried some things around Community Media Day. We've tried, we haven't done any direct solicitations, but there's so many avenues which I would put in a presentation to you all about, you know, donor advised funds, who's sitting in our membership roles, who do you know as high net worth individuals that have an interest in supporting community media or education or STEM or something like that. People like events. I personally, as a fundraiser, I find them very challenging and low on
expensive.
ROI,
Yeah.
very expensive. But that could be a way as well. It would be, I would look at an event that someone would host for us, potentially a board member, and we could talk about successes and things like that. Partner with another organization to do a fundraiser together, things like that. There's a lot of fundraising professionals that I know through the chamber that, you know, we can share ideas and options. Expanding our membership, really tracking and deep diving into who's there. There might be some direct solicitations going out, but you know, it's like kind of open to anything and everything. And thanking people, like thanking the board, taking time to thank you all for what you do for us. Gratitude is the first step in fundraising. Gratitude and information, you know, so.
Well,
But it sounds like it would be fair to say that fundraising and sponsorships have always been kind of a struggle. This isn't a new thing.
So sponsorships are completely new to UMA.
Yeah.
I initiated them when I came on board as part of the diversification of our funds. We did have some success when we initially launched it, especially for our internship program at the time. So part of the conversation in the October meeting was what can be sponsored, right? And so how can you as a board member go out to the community and educate them that they can sponsor certain things like our after school program or our community calendar initiative, or like people can designate funds to a specific area or just sponsor us in general, right? So when we talk about a sponsorship, it's usually a larger donation. It's, usually $250 and above is considered a sponsorship.
Okay.
So,
And they get something back for that. So also underwriters could be something, when we look at, potentially developing a sports coverage kind of plan, great opportunity for underwriting. But that has to be a working program.
What's the difference between sponsorship and underwriting?
Underwriting is more used as the term for nonprofits because you can't qualify, like, sell ad space. So a sponsor would be more of a restricted gift to a specific area. I think of an underwriter as more of like a more one-off
Think
kind
of
of
the
thing.
names on PBS that scroll by, those are sponsors, and then Home Depot comes on, that would be an underwriter.
that would be an underwriter.
Yeah.
Because they get extra recognition,
Yeah.
I guess, is what you would want to call it.
There's a lot of conversation within the community media sphere about how do you remain neutral and unbiased and yet take what could potentially be looked at as ad money. So, and we have to be very careful because Tina's done a lot of work on establishing our nonprofit status. We need to maintain that. So we need to be very careful about
it could be even an in-kind underwriting, right? So an example was we used a Malden-based company to purchase our kitchen cabinetry, and I had a conversation with them saying, if you're willing to donate this to us, I'll put a plaque up with your name and information on it. I couldn't get them to bite, but I tried, right? So that's a different version of underwriting. So when we start working on our capital campaigns, rooms are going to be named after individuals that underwrite the campaign or sponsor the campaign. So, yeah.
Give thoughts.
No, I just think that's interesting. I've never thought of it that way.
So there could be a Boswell Media Center.
If you want, yeah.
You
It
get
does hold a
if
certain
you get
appeal.
3.5 mil,
Smith
let's
does
go.
nothing.
You can have my naming rights. We'll rename Umina the Boswell Center. How's that? Just kidding. Just kidding.
It doesn't roll off the tongue as much as
Yeah.
Umaversity.
Umaversity. You like that, did you?
I did like that.
Right? Yeah. All right. That's all questions I had on the finance report.
Yeah, and if you have specific areas too that you want me to incorporate into a presentation, let me know.
I don't have as much to report as I used to because the things are happening now that I've been wanting to have happen for years. So
That's good.
it's a joy.
I will say, I should mention that our bookkeeper did leave UMA at the end of June, early July. And so I have taken on the responsibility of reconciling the bank accounts, making sure things are getting paid. And I'll share that it has been a challenge, along with everything else that I've been trying to maintain. So I think it'd be a good idea to, sooner rather than later, try to bring somebody on to assist with the bookkeeping.
It becomes
But
so fun.
I'm learning lots of things, so that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So far, everything looks, from what I'm seeing in the general audit every month, looks fine.
Great. And then just an FYI, the auditor is still in process. He's waiting for the funds to come in from the city to finalize the audit report.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I can't do anything about that.
Nope.
Any other questions? I'll yield to Emmanuel then. Assuming he's not doing.
All right. Thank you for that. So we will now move on to any subcommittee updates. I will tell you that from the chair, Felicia and I had a discussion about the annual meeting and what that looks like. I guess as part of the events. I know that I did see it on here on the agenda. I know that. Correct me if I'm wrong, Felicia. I think that there is still a little bit more that we have to talk about, obviously regarding nominations and elections. But yeah, that we mapped out what the program should look like for that night, and I know that everybody had received that in their email. Obviously regarding today's meeting, so that's a subcommittee update for me.
I think you need to tilt your camera down just a little bit so subcommittee isn't right across your mouth.
You know, on my end.
There we go.
On
Cool.
your end.
That's so much better.
Close. Okay.
There we go.
Oh, yeah.
All right, that's better.
Yeah,
No, not really.
On my end, my face is there, but then, as you just said that, Jonathan, all of a sudden I look and my mouth is being censored. Probably
Yeah.
just don't want to be identified by anybody in the public in case they want to take a run on me.
I will mention that Felicia and I both have actively been talking to our membership about running for the member seats or becoming board members or being a part of the subcommittee. And I do want to mention for the program committee, I've been pushing that exceptionally hard because my vision is to have that as a large subcommittee for our organization of very diverse voices. The vision is to have the members of this subcommittee out in our community talking to our community about who UMA is and what we do, but more importantly, talking to them about what they would like to see coming out of their local community center and then coming together as a group to provide solution-based feedback to us. And we've had a lot of interest, a lot of variety of people interested in looking at coming on at least onto the subcommittee aspect of it. So that is my ask to the board, is to have that same type of conversation with your community members, with your circles, with your people, and say, look, if you can't commit to a board seat, we have these subcommittees. You know, and I've been pushing that for a while. I think the more voices we have on our subcommittee, the better we will be as a community-based organization. So,
Our board works a little differently, so you don't have to be a board member to be on a subcommittee. So a subcommittee could be a pathway, I guess, to a board seat. But we are looking at those subcommittees as real sort of active volunteers, folks linked in our community. I love somebody who had fundraising or events experience, or at least interest in that. Love someone with social media experience, someone, programming, youth, anybody, you know.
And for the programming committee, the goal is to get a date set so that at the annual meeting, we can tell people when the first meeting is and try to get people to sign up.
fantastic. That's a great idea, Lori. Thank you. Make sure to put that in the minutes, please. But like getting some help with the nominations committee too. You know, we've got some board government stuff to do on that end, and I don't want to put it all on your shoulders as the only person on the committee, sort of thing, besides
Right.
me. So how do we beef that up for you? You know, honestly, you could even look at them as support for you here as a board member, right? Because they're going to help you do the research or have the conversation or do the work and that kind of thing, so that it's not such a heavy lift.
And I know it's not on the agenda, so I don't know, I mean, I did submit kind of a board member agreement, I don't know if there's time to talk
Yeah.
about it though.
Yeah, that's the draft for the annual meeting that
Okay.
you're looking at. The actual agenda for
Oh,
tonight
sorry.
is right here.
Thank you.
So,
Anything movement on Neighborhood View,
So,
finding funding?
yeah, so the INN match grant has already closed, but we can apply for the next cycle, and they're still interested in having us be part of that. Because it's on my list. But there's, operating money is first and forefront for us, and then it's how do we support our restricted programs? 'Cause money for citizen journalism, now that we're part of INN, has to be fairly well vetted, so.
in our conversations with Felicia and I've asked that it be in her top 3 priorities to continue to pursue. So she has been
Yeah.
trying to do the work. And in the interim, we are trying to keep something active on our Neighborhood View site. So we've
Yeah, I
been
see
using
that.
volunteers and local ed. Anne has done a great job in following up on the few stories that we're still getting ready for circulation. We're trying our best.
Yeah.
You know, it's definitely a program I do not want to lose.
Mhm.
So
Such a precious resource. It's a great program. It's just, I'm
Yeah.
working on it.
Yeah.
But thank you for asking. And if you have ideas or thoughts, or you see something out there,
Yeah.
let me know, please.
Yeah, definitely.
or even if the subcommittee wants to meet and have a conversation about how to help,
Yeah.
that would be great.
Yeah.
Yeah. We don't want that to die out either, and,
Yeah.
you know. So.
Okay.
We should probably put a list of the subcommittees on the subcommittee update to make sure we get through all of them. There is supposed to be a finance subcommittee.
Yes.
It's Eden and myself.
Mhm.
I'll be
And me.
transitioning off the board. September, the annual meeting will be my last meeting, actually.
Mhm.
I'm technically over my term, but here I am.
You're a good guy.
So Eden, you and I should set some time up
Yep.
at UMA to sit down and kind of
Okay.
go through QuickBooks and review everything so I can transition out, so that get some
Yes.
training. The training I never had.
I would be much appreciative of
Well,
such
training
things.
wasn't established when you came on.
I was thrown into the fire. It was
Mhm.
fun.
You and me both.
All right. If there are no other subcommittee updates, let me just make sure that this is tilted so you guys can see me.
Look at you wearing your UMA shirt.
I know.
Hoorah.
Oh yeah. I figured you guys can't see that. I got
No.
on my end. I have this on, but I didn't
Way to
realize that
represent.
Yeah.
The title kind of cuts the shirt up. But yeah, got my. All right. We are now moving on to old business. We are now moving on to the board contract and agreement. And I do want to start off by saying, give a nice thank you to Eden for taking this on and turning this around pretty quickly. And yeah, thank you. Thank you for doing that.
I mean, I'm open. I don't have it in front of me. I'm sorry. I had a tough day at work. But if people have edits or who we need to if there are details that need to be changed, like who we need to report to if we're not going to make a meeting, or who to contact, things like that. Oh, thank you.
I have to tell you from the chair, I actually liked a lot. Obviously, I know this is a working document, so I'm sure at some point we'll probably have to revisit this and obviously make some edits. But Eden, I will tell you that it looked good. I liked it, and yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure. I should say, I can't remember if we need a vote on this or not to adopt it. I think we might, but I am confident in this, and yeah, I'd be ready to vote on this and adopt this as part of our agreement going forward as worded.
Thank you. I mean, I did try to make it short. That was my goal, one
Yeah.
pager, so you could
That's
read
good.
and concise. And because I know the working document we had prior was a little lengthy, so that was my goal.
Yeah, I think it's great, concise, and kind of covers everything.
Thank you.
Do we vote to adopt then, or?
Well, let's see. If there's any other further discussion on this, and then I'd be happy to entertain any votes at this point. I mean, if anybody else has any last minute thoughts or comments on the agreement.
We're gonna make it pretty and put it in UMA's font and everything, right?
Oh,
Yes,
sorry.
we are.
In purple.
We're even gonna put it in very bubbly letters too.
We could take it and put it on our letterhead
Okay,
and
great.
such for you. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
I thought it was all
I
very
know.
reasonable. I'd be comfortable voting on it today.
Agreed. All right. With that being said, if there's no other further discussion on it, I will entertain any motions to adopt the board agreement as going for. Excuse me, as written, to be part of our board governance documents.
Motion to adopt.
Seconded.
On Jonathan's motion, and I believe that was on. I can't see you guys, so that sounded like Jonathan's motion. It sounded like it was seconded by Brian.
Yes.
I think we can just do a roll call. Excuse me, we can just do a voice vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Any abstentions? Congratulations, the board agreement has finally been adopted and has finally been written. And again, Eden, I just want to say thank you again for taking this and flipping this. Not flipping it, but taking this and running with it and having it turned around as quickly as you did. So thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Yes.
I also wondered too, just to stay on that, Tina, if it's possible to publish the board agreement, right, along with our conflict of interest and our bylaws to make that public facing, so that it's no surprise that if somebody is interested in becoming a member or a board member of UMA, that they can easily find this document and read it over, and we're not forcing them to sign it on the night of or whenever they get voted on.
Sure, and we can change the verbiage too when you're applying to make sure it calls out that you have to agree to this agreement prior to taking a seat on our board, that kind of thing. I actually have a follow-up question too. So this, each board member will need to sign this document, and I'm assuming you would want me to house those physical copies.
I would only think it's fair to have both physical and electronic.
Okay.
No, I don't think we need to store more physical records that are just gonna go in a box
So you-
somewhere. I would just scan them and store them,
Okay.
personally.
I
They're not
agree.
legal-
We
they're
were
not legal documents,
we're working
right.
on digitizing as much as we can, so it makes sense to me. We should have a OneDrive space for the board. If we don't, we make sure that happens.
And I didn't think about it until after we voted, but should there be anything like term ends on the document, like to help us keep records, or no, none of that needs to be on that? Or what member
I think
seat
that
you're taking?
is there a date line?
The date you
Yes.
sign it,
Yeah,
but there's no end
because
date or
usually
term
that
on-
that
okay.
term should
Okay,
once
correspond.
we rotate
Right.
out of board members,
Right.
that whoever takes that on, their term will start on that date anyway.
Okay.
So, yeah.
It says right on it, this agreement is effective for my term as a board member. You already covered yourself, you're good.
I could make this a PDF fill and sign if you'd like to.
That's all fine.
Yeah,
Do you want to take this project on?
Sure.
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you. All right. If there's no other further discussion on the board contract and agreement, we will move on to the strategic plan.
Yeah, so I gave my usual update on my board report, calling out specific items on our strategic plan. My intention, after, I believe it was our last board meeting, or it might have been even the one before that, I was directed to create another one-year plan. I have the goal sets outlined, and we'll be working on a detailed plan to present to the board, but I don't anticipate that to be actually done until the October meeting. Where I will give an update on today and on this year's current plan and items that need to be addressed before the end of calendar year, and then present to the board the new one-year plan to discuss. Well, I'll send it to you, and that way we have November to talk, and November's meeting to talk and flesh out any details you might want on the next year's plan so that it can be approved prior to the new calendar year. What you got, Brian?
Well, the September meeting
Yes.
is the big public-facing meeting.
Mhm.
So, and the strategic plan is so important. It's really great because it talks about the future of UMR and the vision, and it'd be really, I don't want to push you to get something done ahead of time, but at least to be able to talk to it a little bit, I think is really nice from a visioning standpoint.
So when I talked
and we have so
about-
many things to brag about, right?
So when I talked about the after-school program, when I talked about the intern program, when I talked about the workforce development program, guess what's on the strategic plan for next year?
Right. I know. I just that it's not going to be ready till October. I'd love to see it formally in the to talk about the strategic plan in the September meeting would be great because it's an opportunity for you to brag about the things that we have done and the things that are happening.
So my question to you is, do you want a draft of a one-year strategic plan presented to you at the annual board meeting during board business? It is a board meeting, so technically you can take board business.
But we'll have the youth there, right? I mean, that's part
We're
of
gonna
it.
have the youth here, we're
Right.
doing awards, we're doing,
Well, is there a way to do it as a work in progress strategic plan that we can hit on some of those specific things in the September meeting so that people, you know what I mean, just to get people excited about it?
It's hard for me to say yes to this because it's a plan that I have to present to you as my governing board for approval. And for me to put that out in the public without you seeing it first, that's hard for me to say yes to.
Even if it was like vague enough to say we're.
Which is why I'm talking about it in I'm required to give an update at the annual meeting, and I'm gonna talk about the future, and I'm gonna talk about things
Okay.
that I plan on focusing
Okay, well,
on.
that's, I think,
Yeah, that covers it.
Yeah.
I'm good
Okay.
with that.
Okay,
I'm just excited.
I hear you.
Brian's
I'm
always
excited too.
Well, it was 2 years of not a lot happening as we're right. So
And you're
I'm
leaving.
excited. Things are happening. Yeah, well, I'm not dying. Like
He'll be back.
Your kids are leaving. What are you gonna do
He'll be
with all
back.
your time?
Well, when the kids are gone, I'll have time to do other things.
So that's really what I have on the future strategic plan. Does anybody have questions on the current strategic plan?
I think it's solid.
Yeah, I mean, you've talked about it, and I think we've got a good understanding of where it's going, so.
I do want to point out in the current strategic plan, one of the goal sets was board governance, and we've done a lot of work with the conflict of interest now with the board agreement. We're going to talk about the board planner in a little bit, but there are additional areas that need to be addressed, which Felicia provided feedback on in her conference report. Primarily things like a line of succession, just governance stuff that needs to be addressed yet still within the board, and so I think it'd be nice for us to take some time to focus on that as well during board meetings, and what we do. And so I appreciate and applaud the work that you've done on the conflict of interest, on the bylaws you got done. I mean, think about the work that you have done this year. It's been incredible, but there's still more work to do, so.
And providing that kind of an update to the public at our public meeting would be a great thing, because they may or may not know that we haven't had those things in place before. So.
Mhm.
And
So-
it might also attract people to be on the board if they understood how do we onboard people. There's a conflict of interest statement. You have a contract. You have a line of succession. You might want to think about, do you do evaluations for yourselves? That
That
kind
was
of
the
thing.
other one. So Emmanuel, that actually might be a good point for your update to start the annual meeting, is to kind of talk about those things.
Agreed. Oh, I can see the top of my daughter's head right now.
Yay! But her face is blurred out. Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent placement.
But yes, I agree, that should be at the,
I'm trying to be conscious of the time for you guys, so.
All
Any
right.
other things on the strategic plan?
I was just, if there is no further discussion on the strategic plan or questions, we can roll right into the annual meeting topic or discussion. Excuse me.
Yeah, so I sent a proposed draft of the agenda for the annual meeting to the board. And if you would note that I did leave strategic plan in the old business doc area of the work to be done by the board. Our annual meeting is a little bit different than our regular meetings because it is a public-facing meeting, and we do add a few elements to that, such as the Legacy Award and the Outstanding Service Award. And then we also do our close of nominations for the members' seat. So the proposed agenda is in front of you, hopefully. And my question to the board, are there items on the agenda you want removed for the public meeting or added? So,
Is this the order you're thinking?
this
Yeah.
is, general consensus.
This is just the agenda. This is not
Yeah.
what the event is.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel, at least from what, anytime you involve kids, like kind of focusing on them, I assume is going to be a majority of it.
Which is why we put them
Yeah.
first.
And I appreciate that. And I think that's absolutely right. And I don't really want to focus too much on business, so I'm fine with how things are laid out for that reason. So,
So that, I think that's my point, is if you go to item number 8 and below and on.
Yeah.
Are there things that you want to keep in, take out? I think it's pretty important to do some sort of financial update during our annual meeting. Do we want to put subcommittee updates at the annual meeting? Do we want to talk about the subcommittees? Because that might be a good way to get people on board.
I mean, to echo what someone said earlier, I think if we have subcommittee update in there, we should at least be listing what the subcommittees are.
Okay.
And I also think too, with the public comment, I think that should be moved up, right? I mean, if we're gonna have public comment should be closer to the beginning of the agenda. If there is,
I will share that the reason I put it where it is now is because of all of the unusual activity that we have first, and also provides the board president and the executive director to provide information to the public before they come up and speak to any item
questions
and have questions.
Well, I was thinking more in the sense of if there was going to be any public comment, particularly on that night, I would think that it's more focused on the wrap up of the youth workshops. So I guess how I played out in my mind is that I would anticipate that people would say, "Oh yeah, thank you, this was great, thank you for this," as opposed to if you put the public comment more or less after the awards and after we do our presentation, that people may just end up leaving, right? And so, but again, that's how it plays out in my mind. I mean,
I will
I'm
go
fine
however the
leaving
board wants to
public
go.
comment where it is too.
Yeah.
So, but
I mean, I just think it's it will be long enough that they probably won't want to say thank you at the end, and I think that's okay too. I think we can assume they've all said thank you and appreciate the effort, or we'll stay real quick and say something, but I'm not sure they would do that in public comment. So, I don't know. I would leave it where it is.
all right. Well, if that's if no further discussion on the agenda, then I'm happy to adopt the agenda for the annual meeting as is. And if there's any amendments between now and next month's meeting, I would think that we can. I mean, we're within that time frame that we could amend the agenda as is. But I'm perfectly fine with, and I think my daughter agrees with me too. Also, fine with leaving the agenda as is.
Well, so my question is, do you want me to have strategic plan on old business if I'm gonna be talking about it in my report?
No, I think you can
Yeah.
leave.
Yeah, just
leave
leave
it
it.
on.
Yeah,
In your
I-
report.
And I think you can. I think you can leave it on. Right. I agree with the group. I think it could be left on.
Like
Everyone
the
else
group
is saying
said
take
no.
it off.
Oh, say take it off. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I thought I heard everybody say keep it on. I'm sorry. Yeah, take it off. I'm sorry.
You're saying if you're gonna be talking.
I thought I
about
heard
it
people
anyway,
say keep it on.
Yeah.
why put it
Yeah.
on there twice?
Yeah.
So my vision is, the first part of this meeting is gonna take about an hour, right? That's usually how it rolls. So by the time you get to actual board business, what do you actually wanna be doing during board business at this meeting? And so if you go any old business to talk about, any new business to talk about, adjournment, right? So it's really what you wanna have a conversation about at this annual meeting is what I'm asking you.
And I assume the meeting will be as short as possible, because usually there is, not to get into too many details and extend our meeting tonight, but just like there's food set up, like
Mhm.
people will be mingling, like trying to get out and just entertain and, you know.
You might wanna consider taking old and new business off if the, president of the board is giving an update, so
That's a good point too.
you might not need it.
I thought old and new business was required to be on the agenda.
That's an Iman question. I think you might be right. It might be required.
Some certain elements are required for
Yeah.
our meetings, and I thought those were two of them. But not my area of expertise.
I think some of the questions people had is why did it go so quick for old and new business? And I think you might wanna just say if you don't have old or new business and you just have it required on your agenda, that you might educate the public that that's why it's there,
Okay.
rather than you really don't have any old business or
Right.
new business.
Or you could play it that there is no discussion on old business or new business at tonight's meeting.
Right.
But
In the
it
future.
needs to be pointed out as to why it's being,
Yeah, just communicate why it's there.
Yeah.
Yes, I understand.
Okay. So I will roll with this current structure, except I will list off the subcommittees, and I will remove the specific strategic plan bullet point off the agenda. I also wanted to talk to the board because at our annual meeting, we usually started at 6:30 p.m. rather than 7 p.m. And I want to call that out because we currently have it listed in your information as 7 p.m. But with the dynamics of that evening, I think it's important to start it at doors open at 6, meeting starts at 6:30.
Absolutely. Yep.
You guys are gonna love the kids' films.
I love the kids' films. I want to share a little bit about the setup and the dynamics of that evening, if I may, just very quickly. I am in the process of getting a large red carpet backdrop and a purple carpet for the red carpet feel. We are going to have a professional photographer taking photos out front. We're going to have lights. It's going to be a big, fancy, fun event when you walk through the door and feel like a film screening. And then we're going to try to carry that energy through as people come in and check in and get settled into the studio. And then we'll start our meeting. And as you see in the agenda, we'll run through. We'll do the film screening. We have a little bit of a special something to go along with that for the attendees of the workshop, and then we'll move into our awards and the rest of the business. And then at the end of the meeting, we will be offering refreshments for a short period of time. Our hope is to be ushering people out and closing up around 8:00 p.m. So.
Do the kids know about this yet?
They were spent, I did forward the email to the board, email today. They were sent a very special invitation to attend the red carpet event and see their screening, yes.
Nice. Who's the photographer?
I don't know yet.
In the past, it's been a big hit for the
you have
kids to
an
come to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever you have on
Fantastic.
the red carpet.
Yeah, they need somebody, so. I'm currently working with CRG. They just prior to this meeting, they just sent me a couple drafts of the backdrop, and then desperately trying to find a purple carpet. He's trying to help me out. If we cannot get a purple carpet for this year, we will rent a red carpet for the event, so.
I just established a connection with a professional photographer who's also a Malden firefighter. And born
Fantastic.
and bred here, who I think would be a great
We'd
fit
love
for
it.
this,
We
yes.
wanna,
It's not Dave,
you know,
is it?
so.
Is his name Dave?
No.
Oh, okay.
We'd love to really beef up that energy and really draw eyeballs to our door. Like, what's going on over here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, kind of thing.
Totally.
That is
Do
actually
we
on
have
my.
searchlights then?
I'm
I
going.
know, I
Yeah,
wish
we're
we
going to be
could
putting
go.
some fun lights out there. Yeah, and we'll have it roped off too.
Yeah, yeah.
And I don't know. Anybody want to stand out there with a clipboard to see if they, you
Yeah.
know, the VIPs.
You.
Open
That's
those
a
Right?
nice
little.
way to check people in. Do it that way
Yeah.
with a couple.
Yeah.
I need to
Black
check.
t-shirt
I
or-
actually
Yep.
need to check with what I need to do to not block the walkway though. So with the city, so
Whatever. They've got
Okay.
other things to
Cross
deal
my
with
eyes,
right
dot
now.
my T's. All right, that's all I have right now on the annual meeting.
Please come.
Yes.
And I will say we have selected our 2 award recipients as well.
Yay.
So
One last note on just listing the subcommittees, like we could use this as a way to try to recruit.
that's
people in
exactly
attendance,
what my
so-
thought process was.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
Yep, absolutely.
Oh, one other question about the kids programs. Did we get any memberships out
2.
of this?
Yeah, we did. We got 2 youth memberships from the 10 to 13 bracket.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, so they're very excited to continue to be here at UMA, and we've been following up with them. So.
Awesome.
It probably doesn't need to be said before we move off of the annual meeting that it is a time for us to show off, so the board should be appropriately attired and representing you. Every person you're talking to, you're representing UMA. So just, I know we're doing that right now, but it's a little different when you're there in person at a physical event. Please make sure that your conduct is appropriate for a professional setting.
Yeah, and feel free to, dress fancy. You're gonna be walking a red carpet. Have fun with it. So, yeah. Do you want to be board on the Eventbrite?
No, so you don't need to do the Eventbrite. If you could just respond to me directly, that would be great, and I'll just track. And if you're bringing a guest, just let me know. We do have a capacity for the studio, so we try to cap it, but I always sell the event because I know folks will drop off. But
You
And we're
have
gonna
so
have-
many families, right?
Right.
and we'll take that into
Okay.
consideration as well.
And
yeah.
we are gonna try to set up a couple different viewing areas
Okay.
too.
Yeah, we always have an extended viewing area in the front there. So yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think, I mean, this would be huge and I don't I know we probably don't have the bandwidth, but if you had so many people that you could use the little like square in City Hall area, like have an outdoor, like I guess it
That would be
probably
fun.
weather.
I happened to
dependent.
have film screening in that area, and it was so windy
Oh, it was so
that
windy.
it was really hard because
Yeah.
stuff was blowing away.
I just didn't know if we were ever at capacity, like that
We-
would be like a cool
That's a-
outdoor
that is a
seating kind
great
of
Love that
idea.
idea. That's,
So-
you know, like having a satellite viewing location,
Right.
right?
That
Let's
would
get
be
there.
down the
Let's
Hey,
get there.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Because I do think with lots of families in here, you will be full. So.
It'll be fun.
Mm.
Yeah.
All right. I have my directive on that.
Right. Alright, if there is no further discussion on, oh, look at that, if there is no further discussion.
That face.
Look at our future board
Oh
member,
my goodness.
subcommittee member.
Does not look like Emmanuel at all.
Recruiting right there. Nomination.
No, like being sarcastic. He's like exactly like Emmanuel.
Alright, so we're gonna go on to new business. We'll turn this discussion over to, I believe this is back to Tina, or I could be wrong, or to Felicia, about the UMA board planner.
This is actually going to go on Lori. Lori and I met last week, right?
Monday.
Monday. See, this is my mindset right now. Lori and I met to talk about the UMA board planner, and I walked through it with her. So I thought I would have Lori talk about what it is and how the board can benefit from it.
Alright, does everybody know how to get onto the board email? I know I've given instructions
The
in the past,
BOD
but-
at umaverse.org email.
Yeah.
You should all have access to be able to
Alright,
open
it
that
sounds like I
email.
need to send that out again.
I've been on it.
I was only able to get into Teams for some reason. I don't know why I couldn't
Just
get
Teams.
into Outlook,
Yeah,
but I could get into Teams, and
Right,
I
I'm gonna-
sent Lori a screenshot of what I
Alright,
saw.
this is the board email.
I know what email Outlook looks
And
like.
what Eden was saying is different than what I see. But if you go, I don't know how to show you guys from here, but if I go into those three dots and then under planner. But I don't know how you saw Teams when you were doing this.
So Planner is an app through the Microsoft Office 365 environment. And what it is it allows you to create multiple buckets within it to add tasks, to identify areas that need to be addressed. You can set it up as a monthly thing or an annual thing or just an immediate thing, however you want to do it. But the way that you will access this as a board member is you have to go into the BOD at Umaverse email. We are talking about seeing if we can send it to your personal, get you access through your personal emails, which we might be able to do. But it's up to you if you want those in your personal email or not, right? So the reason we set them up in the BOD is so that you weren't getting personally inundated with UMA emails.
It's also a place that we could be putting resources for you. We could,
Or linking to
or
resources,
linking
yeah.
to resources.
As Tina was showing me how to do stuff, we added information on the UMA cleanup week. The annual meeting is in here. I know you guys can't see it, but Halloween, if we open that up, we assume the city Halloween event is probably gonna be on Friday, October 31st, unless they pick a different day. And that's usually in the afternoon. And there's a note in here that, UMA could use board volunteers, and they can wear family-friendly costumes and help out with, I'm not sure what you're doing this year, but the green screen.
So go to the area of the subcommittees, if you will. There is a bucket of subcommittees, right? So each subcommittee will have their own
Oh, we-
their own bucket, and you can, like, let's use the nominations committee as an example. You're tasked with, creating an orientation
I
booklet
understand.
for.
I'm just gonna have to get over
the board.
downloading Outlook on my home computer, that's all. I don't wanna mess with my
This-
work.
You should be able to log into, I don't think you need to download the client.
Okay.
You should be able to
Yeah.
log into it online. I log into the finance one without a problem.
Yeah, if you go to the online portal, you
Okay.
should be able to log in. Okay.
Okay.
Just,
this-
you'll wanna separate the profile you're logging into. Try doing it from incognito window or something.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you could add like some of your stuff here,
You're right.
or under,
We
So
can
an
do- we can
or
do
example-
it
even make
offline.
it different.
Yeah, so
board
an
development.
example would be how is this helpful? So let's say, okay, we're gonna task the nominations committee to come up with an orientation booklet for new board members. So we put that in the bucket and then we can assign tasks to it and identify, and it just keeps everything in one place and we know what we're working on and what we need to address, that kind of thing.
And there's some older information here that might need to be updated. Like there is a member agreement, but you'd have to look at that and see if it's the most current information.
Well, if that says member agreement, that's probably the one you voted on tonight. So now you can actually click on the little circle.
Oops.
You're done with it,
Beautiful.
and it goes away.
Look at that.
Wow.
And it keeps a record. This is what's really cool about it. It keeps a record of what you're working on.
Don't know
Sorry,
what
I
you
could
signed.
see the dopamine happen right at that moment.
Yeah, but we didn't even see the actual agreement. Right? It never
Right,
appeared.
so-
She just
We can.
Right, so but now you can
unclick it.
unclick it, go back in there, and you can
Okay.
attach files to that, links to that,
Okay.
tasks to that. You can
So we have to
assign, you
have-
can
Oh, you
assign
can
it to
add it
people.
there, okay.
So why don't you assign me a task
Okay.
of creating a PDF
Alright.
fill and sign for
Okay.
you, and I'll send it out
So-
to everybody.
We just wanted to do a highlight about this. We can talk more in detail because we want to keep, again, timely things. But we're trying to create tools for this board to be successful and within our environment, right? So, because that way, whether you're a board member here 6 years from now or not, board members still have access to this tool,
Yeah.
right?
And Eden, if you want any help troubleshooting, I
Okay.
have struggled with Outlook as well,
Okay.
so I may have some tips or tricks.
Okay.
Cause I monitor multiple, email addresses that are attached to folders.
Okay.
So it might be something I can
Okay.
just,
Thank
you
you.
know,
I'll
contact
reach
me,
out, yeah.
The treasurer is not on the planner. I can't get into the planner app. When I open the planner app, it's blank. I need to be invited in.
Okay, so Lori,
I always wondered why I opened it. I couldn't see it. And now I get it. It's
Right.
all just going to the board, right?
Mhm.
Okay.
So you.
so the treasurer and clerk emails should be added to that planner so that the treasurer and the clerk can always see that. The president should be on that, and so it should be the president email, the clerk email, the treasurer email, and the BOD email. Those four.
Finance be on there too.
Finance is a separate.
Okay.
Mm-mm.
So you're staying treasurer then?
What?
You're not, are you?
No.
Okay.
So once we transition,
We're
once
just talking
Brian.
email.
Okay, I know.
So we set up the treasurer email for that specific person,
Right.
purpose. When our treasurer leaves us, we still have access to all those records
Right,
and what is
absolutely.
needed. Yeah, and then we change our password just, to that email account, so when things change, so.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Okay. Emmanuel, do you wanna, anything else on the board planner?
No, nothing. I have nothing further to add. Sorry, in the middle of trying to put Camilla to bed. We can go right to the next agenda item if there's no further discussion. We can go right into. I just lost my agenda.
Accounting policies update.
Thank you. Account policy update. We can roll right into that.
So I had presented this at our last board meeting, and the ask was to give everybody time to review them. And this was a recommendation from our auditor that this document should be updated with our changes in the organization, as well as just updated because it hadn't been for a while. So at this point, it's up for discussion. Do you want to table it? Do you want to vote on it?
We've already tabled it once. I'd prefer not to table it again, though I'd be shocked if everybody took the time to review it. I did take time personally to go through it and found that, it's a document we've never really had in place before, and it covers
That's
certain.
no, that's not true.
It's been revised.
Yes,
Right. There are
yeah.
things on it like employees are personally accountable for use of the company credit card, which was never specifically outlined in the past. So there's a few things in there that cover UMA from a liability standpoint, and I would I have no further recommendations or changes. It's not my expertise, but I did not have any personal issues with it.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, you had this looked at
With our auditor and,
the lawyer.
and I did throw it through AI to make sure that it was compliant, both state and federal compliant. So,
do we adopt it? Emmanuel?
He's not even.
I believe one of us needs to vote
No,
to adopt it.
I
Yeah.
But I
can't
would-
take
I
myself
was
off
here
being
for
fast enough.
discussion.
All right.
I don't.
I'll make a
We'll
motion
roll
to
right
adopt.
into the procurement
no,
procedures.
we're, Eden has made a motion to adopt the accounting policies.
Oh, I'm sorry. Didn't even hear that part. Okay, excuse me. On Eden's motion, is there a second?
I will second it.
That's seconded, sounds like by Brian.
Yes.
You are correct.
Say that one time?
Yes.
All right. I think we can just do a voice vote. All those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed?
So I gotta speak. I feel like we should read it. I didn't. I will admit that. I should have, but I also hate tabling things. I don't feel comfortable voting on something that I haven't read. I feel like we should read it by the next meeting and then vote to adopt it.
Next
But
meeting
the
is
next
the annual
meeting
meeting.
is the annual meeting, so we're not gonna have.
So we're
have children
comfortable
here.
voting on something that we haven't read?
I've read it.
I read it.
So I'm.
Our
comfortable
treasurer
with
has
it.
read it.
I'm
yeah,
voting- I'm
and he
comfortable
gave
voting on it.
some
You
overview.
can be
and
opposed to it too.
right.
You
can
don't have to-
abstain.
You
Yeah,
can
you can
abstain
abstain.
or,
I think that I'm going to abstain.
There you go.
And that's on me. I should
You
have
can
read
nay too. We don't get very many nays.
it.
that's not a bad thing.
That's
Yeah,
not
I-
a bad thing. You can have 100%.
No, and I mean, this is also me being still fairly new to the board, a board. Is it common practice to sort of trust the treasurer?
He's
And-
leaving, so
Yeah, and he won't have access to Microsoft Office soon. But yeah, I just I don't want to race to just.
Well, to clarify, and again, I ran this document through our auditor, through the board treasurer,
Yep.
that kind of thing. So, yeah, you're absolutely right. If you don't want to vote on something that you're not comfortable or haven't read, I understand
So
that.
I think that in thinking those who have read it, if they feel comfortable with it, I'm going to abstain. But
And Tina said that she dropped it into AI. I'll also note that I did drop it into Copilot to cover
Nice.
because I'm not an accountant and I'm not an attorney. I wanted to run it through something
Yeah.
to have another pair of eyes on it. And,
Got it.
And the feedback that I got and the questions that I had with it were it's comprehensive. It covers all the bases you want in an accounting policy. It's here are some things that you see that are not necessarily typical to a nonprofit, but
yeah,
based on your specific organization, sounds like it makes sense. So I didn't have any. It's accounting policies. Like
I think it's a living document, correct? I mean, we could go back.
Yeah, we can
if-
modify it
if
at any point.
Adam looks
Yeah.
at it and is not comfortable with something.
Yeah.
So it literally is just a modification of our I
Right.
think it's from 2019 is our last one that we did. And so it's just a modification and an update to that particular document.
I think as a board, if you vote on something and Adam reads it and he wants to provide feedback, you can still adopt his feedback.
yeah. And we're adopting something that is living and breathing.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. Love it.
So where do we
Okay.
stand on the vote currently then?
So, so it sounds like even if Adam had abstained, it was still going to pass unanimously. It sounded like, but we can redo this vote.
can I make a motion again?
The
the motion's already been made.
Yeah,
I think
motion's
that's,
already
uh,
been
Yeah, I don't think it needs
Okay,
any motions.
re-motion.
We have.
No,
Okay.
because your motion's already been seconded.
Okay.
The only way you would ever amend your motion is if you, the only way you would renew your motion is if it had died, which it didn't. But is there an amendment to your motion then?
I don't think we
No.
never really voted. Like you were gonna do a vote,
Well,
right?
you all said
It's
No,
aye.
5
Yeah.
to
I
1.
mean, we did a voice vote, but
Yeah,
I can do it one more time.
Can we do it by roll call?
do
Some-
a roll call, yeah.
I'll do a roll call vote then. Clerk will call the roll.
Okay, John,
Yes.
Adam,
Abstain.
Brian,
Yes.
Eden,
Yes.
Emmanuel,
Yes.
and yes for me.
So the motion passes.
Okay.
Okay. All right, we will move on to the next agenda item, which is the UMA procurement procedures.
Yeah. So I sent a draft of a document to the board with this month's board package. This was a recommendation. Actually, I brought it to the auditor as a question, and he agreed that we, as an organization, should have some sort of procurement policy in place outside of our accounting policy, so that it's very clear to anyone making purchases within the organization. These are the processes and procedures to making those purchases. Right now, as it states in any of our documentation, the only requirement financially is if we write a check for over $5,000, it needs to have 2 signatures. There is no other requirement for large capital expenditures or large expenditures within our policies, procedures, bylaws, and I want to correct that process. So the draft you see presented to you was provided by the auditor. He gave me multiple examples to work through, and I utilized those to draft this policy. I am not asking for a vote for this tonight because I do want you to have the time to look it over and provide recommendations for any changes. I would ask you to pay particular attention to the amounts when looking at different purchases. I believe right now it states, I don't have it, well, I actually do have it in front of me, hold on. I believe now it states right now that micro purchases are anything under $10,000, which I personally agree with, but a small purchase is anything from $10,000 to $249.99, right? So to me, that's not a small purchase considering our current financial situation and what steps should be taken. Again, this is another living document, so we've never had one of these before, and so that it should be a conversation for the board.
Who has access to the card?
I'm sorry?
Like, is there a card that
We no longer have credit cards
Okay.
For the organization. We had to close them out as card holders. So right now it's just our bank account.
Okay. But how do people submit receipts? Like, what do, I'm just,
They do not receive. We have receipts. Usually we always want to have receipts, but
Right.
not always.
So here's the background on this.
yeah, I need some.
As your ED,
Right.
right now I could go out and spend $300,000 on some equipment without your approval,
Of course.
right?
You can do a lot of things as our ED.
Right? And to me, I feel like there should be some sort of step in there to make sure that I'm not giving that $300,000 to my buddy for his equipment and not doing it fair market value, fair RFPs and that kind of thing, right?
Okay.
I'm trying to protect the future of this organization, whether if I'm here or not. I'm not, just to clarify to the public, because we are in a public meeting, I'm not spending $300,000 on
Right.
equipment with my buddy. But it brought up, we should be looking at that, and we should be very mindful of that. So
But
at
I
a certain point,
Thought you were looking at the smaller dollar value. Like, what if you go to, like, I don't know what UMA buys that's small
Right.
dollar value, but how are those purchases made? Are you looking at that, or is it just the bigger dollar value?
it's the bigger dollar
Okay,
values.
okay.
But again, like an example is the contract with Metasound. I was thankful that it was under the $10,000 mark, because to me, I personally set the standard that I would come to the board with anything over $10,000 and ask permission to spend that money, but we don't have that in a policy.
Okay.
I just did that.
Okay.
I had always
to be
thought that was in the
transparent.
policy, so
It is
this-
not.
This is
Yeah.
new to me.
Mm-mm.
I thought there was a.
It would be
I
over
thought there was a
5,000.
requirement to go to RFP over certain.
There's not.
amounts.
It has always been.
This is that.
I
document.
instituted that when I got here,
Okay.
but it's never been in writing.
I think this is great, and we
Yeah,
can review it in our following.
good.
So we'll have to vote on it, just not today, is that?
Not today.
It will need to be voted on, but I do not recommend doing it today. And I ask you to provide, feedback on what your thoughts are as a group. Where do you want that stopgap to be? Where do you want it to lie? Because you don't want to impede your ED's ability to do their job, but at the same time, you want to make sure that there are steps in place for transparency and equality.
Yeah, I'm happy to provide feedback. Put it in planner.
Perfect. Will do.
Can you give us an idea and as far as percentages of like under $10,000 versus over $10,000? Your
What do you mean?
purchases, like, what do you think?
So
the
another reason I'm
percentage?
bringing this up is because I see in the very near future, we're gonna have some very large
Big,
capital
yeah.
expenditures, right?
Yeah.
And right now, there's not anything stopping me from going to my favorite vendor and saying, I want your product and only your product.
Yeah.
I'm not giving my money to anybody else. I want something in place to stop that from happening.
Yeah.
So if you're talking percentages, I would say comfortably over $10,000, we should be required to get three bids on the item. 10,000 to maybe $50,000.
Yeah.
3 bids.
Yeah.
Anything over 50 or anything over 75K, that should go through an entire
Board, yeah.
RFP,
Okay.
right? So like think about when we did the feasibility study, it was 25K. So what we did was a request for, I think we did an RFP.
We did.
Right? So we did ask for requests for proposals because that was a large chunk of money from us at the time. But as we continue to grow and we continue to pull in funding and our resources, those amounts will grow as we move forward.
Yeah. But as you, as long as you've been at UMA, how many projects or things have we purchased over $100,000?
None that I know of right
None,
now.
okay.
But that's coming down the pipe
Yep.
quickly. Right? So, and regardless if, we get grant money or not, we should still have board approval to move forward with this particular project. And again, it speaks to that capital improvements plan that I have to have in place anyways. You should probably agree to that as a board member. Like, yep, this is where I see UMA going in the future. I mean, yes, I can propose it, but I think it's a good idea for the board to have eyeballs on it too, so.
Seeing there's no immediate need for it,
Mhm.
it's been provided to the board, about
Mhm.
table discussion to October,
Mhm.
with the intention to vote. Like, there should be discussion and work on it in that time, so that by the time that October comes around, we can actually vote on it.
If you'd like, I guess
mean,
my
it's
request.
basically done, it just needs refinement, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So.
Okay. We are at the end of our agenda. Oh, my face locked out again, sorry. We are at the end of our agenda. I am looking to go into executive session for the matter of personnel discussion. So, most likely, actually not most likely, we will end up adjourning inside of executive session. I don't see that there will be a need for us to come out and adjourn in public. So I will entertain any motions right now to go to an executive session regarding matters of personnel discussion.
Motion to adjourn, so motioned.
All right, is there a second?
I'll second.
Clerk will call the roll to go into an executive session, and as I stated earlier, just for the public, that we will be most likely adjourning inside of executive session. So this will be the conclusion of our meeting right here. Clerk will call the roll.
John,
Yes.
Adam,
Yes.
Brian,
Yes.
Eden,
Yes.
yes for me, and Emmanuel.
Yes. Thank you, everybody, for attending tonight's meeting, and we will see you next month.